Hello. So we're going to go through session 5 mixed operation questions. We're going to look at one of the techniques that we use to break down those worded questions that pupils might see in the reasoning and problem solving SATs papers. So what we'll find here that is in play is that some pupils that have some issues around reading and inference of text will not be able to understand what maths is needed to access these questions. So this ruler method is really to level the playing field so that every pupil has a technique and a strategy to be able to access these. The first thing we will do is we will give the pupils a minute to read the question to themselves before you then will read it to them as a group. So you would actually say, right, we've got 1 minute, I'd like you to have a look through this question, read it to yourself in your head. I want you to be thinking about what we might do here. Set a timer for about 1-2 minutes, depending on how long that the sentences are. Then you would read it out to the whole group, but you're wanting to put key focus on key words that are going to help them infer what maths is used. So here, a chef needs to bake pies for a party. Each tray holds 15 pies. If the chef has 322 trays, what is the maximum number of pies the chef can make for the party? So at this point, I don't think the pupils will have picked up on anything here. But we want to go back and we want to underline key information. We know that the chef needs to bake pies for a party and that each tray holds 15 pies. The chef has 322 trays. So what is the maximum number of pies that the chef can make? Once we've underlined, we want to lay this out visually. So a lot of our pupils will be visual learners, and that's when things will start to click. What I would do here is I would go, each tray holds 15 pies. I would go, right, here's a tray. I'd ask a question. How many pies can we fit on one tray? 15. So one tray holds 15 pies. Notice the repetition of that key piece of information. Then we could ask a pupil, how many trays has the chef got? Hopefully they can pick that information from the text and go 322. Wow, that's quite a big one. Let's start thinking about what might happen when we have more trays. If we have one tray, we know we have 15 pies. You could now ask pupil A, how many pies could we have if the chef had 2 trays? What we're hoping there is the pupil goes, oh, well, I know that each tray has 15 pies, so that would be 30 pies altogether. And what we're wanting to pull from them here is, what is the operation that we're doing? Some pupils will go, well, it's 15 add 15. What we want them to do is go, well, if we've got 2 trays, that's 2 lots of 15. Then we could ask, what about if we had 5 trays? What could we do then to work out how many pies? If each tray has 15 and we have 5 trays, that's 5 lots of 15. So what does 5 lots of 15 mean? And here we're hoping that they say, well, that would be 5 times by 15. Well, if that's the case, then if we have 322 trays, that means we have 15 pies 322 times. And look now, we've used the word times. So we've got 15 times by 322. And this is where we've got that evaluate. Now we've laid it out visually. We've had those question prompts to get that deeper understanding. We've built up to it, and now we've got to evaluate. And that word evaluate is used in the GCSE exam. So we're thinking ahead now of them in secondary. When we're evaluating, we are doing it. So let's lay it out. We've got 322. Using our column method, we are now going to do this calculation. 5 times 2 is 10. 0 down, carry the 1. 5 times 2 is 10, plus that 1 we've carried over is 11. 1 down, carry the 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus the 1, 16. What must we remember on this second line? we've got to remember our placeholder. So our placeholder goes down. Now we can think of it like a 1. Again, this is recall from a previous session. So we've got 1 times 2, 1 times 2, 1 times 3. This answer here is 5 lots of 322. And this answer here is 10 lots of 322. So if we add them together, that will find out 15 lots of 322, which is what we're aiming to do. So we add these together and we should have an answer of 4,830. Now this next question you'll be able to see is very, very similar, but it's a different operation. So again, give the pupils a minute to read, then read it out to the group with that real clear emphasis on certain key parts. A chef needs to bake 1,260 pies for a party. Each tray holds 15 pies. How many trays will the chef need? Again, let's visualize this. So one tray has 15 pies and we need to bake 1,260. Well, if the question said the chef needs to bake 30 pies, how many trays would that be? Well, how many 15s go into 30? That would be 2. But it's not asking for 30, it's asking for 1,260. So our question is, how many 15s go into 1,260? So we've laid it out visually, we've broken it down with a number that's something a bit more manageable and tangible for them to visualise, and now we would evaluate and do it using our long division. How many 15s go into 1,260? Remember, with long division, we want to actually write our 15 times tables down before we start this process, because this will help the pupils with reducing cognitive overload, doing this whilst also laying out long division. So obviously this is recall from a previous session. If you want to go back and do a little practice of long division before you access these questions, that's fine as well. But please use the ruler method to break these questions down.